There's a moment that arrives in a bar in Thailand, and it arrives for nearly every bloke eventually, where you find out something about yourself that you'd honestly rather not know. It isn't about her. That's the bit everyone gets wrong when they tell this story down the pub. It's about you. You've been at the bar roughly 20 minutes. One elbow on it, beer in hand, weight on one leg, doing a facial expression you're fairly confident is charming. And in those 20 minutes, you have quietly come to a conclusion about yourself. You've decided that you are, and there's no gentle way to put this, magnificent. You're doing the eyebrow. You know the eyebrow. You've been doing it since you were 19, and it has never worked once, and you're still doing it. You've told her the one about the taxi from the airport. You've done the bit about the massage that went wrong. You've deployed the observation about the traffic that you've been running since about 2014 and which was never good, even when it was new. And she's laughing. Not a polite laugh either, a proper one. Head back, hand on your arm, the lot. So obviously, you take full credit for that. You do not pause. You do not examine it. Somewhere in the back of your head, a small voice says, "Hang on, that material's dreadful." And you tell that voice to be quiet, because you're busy being magnificent. She's tall, properly tall, taller than you in the heels and not the least bit bothered about it, which you've decided is a compliment to your confidence rather than just a fact about her legs. She's immaculate, genuinely. The makeup is better than anything you've ever seen up close, and I mean that as an actual observation, not a punchline. You've been in a taxi for 40 minutes and you look like a dropped sandwich. She looks like she's about to be photographed. She's funny as well. Quicker than you. She's already got 2 lines in that were better than anything you've said all night, and you didn't notice either of them because you were waiting for your turn to talk. And you're stood there thinking, yeah, this is it. This is the international magnetism finally paying off. Now. Somewhere around the 25-minute mark, your brain starts doing something it should have done at minute 1. It starts paying attention. It happens in the wrong order, obviously, because your brain is not a professional. It starts at the bottom, you glance down, and you clock the shoes. And these are not small shoes. These are strappy heels of genuine structural ambition. You look at those shoes, and your first thought isn't a question about her, it's a question about engineering. You find yourself wondering, briefly and stupidly, how anyone stands up in them. And then, less briefly, whether they'd fit a Premier League centre-back. You are still working on that when she leans in. She leans in close, right by your ear, over the music, to ask if you want another drink. And the voice that comes out is deep, not a bit deep. Deep like a cellar. Deep like something being moved in the room above you. Warm, rich, unhurried, and carrying the kind of bass that Barry White spent an entire career trying to get on tape. And then the penny, at long last, drops. Now here's where it gets good, and here's where it stops being about her at all. Because what happens next happens entirely inside your own head, and it is not dignified. Your internal operating system attempts an emergency reboot. You can actually feel it. There's a small pause where nothing is running. Your face keeps going, because your face didn't get the memo, so you're still doing the eyebrow. You are stood there with the eyebrow going, and absolutely nothing behind it. A screensaver. And in that gap, in that half a second of total system failure, the truth walks in and sits down. You weren't being worldly. You weren't being open-minded, relaxed and at ease in a foreign country, which is the version of yourself you'd have described to your mates. Your ego had simply gone ahead and assumed. It had assumed that a woman who was that tall, that composed, that well put together, and that much funnier than you'd crossed a room, of her own free will, to be charmed by a sunburnt man in a damp polo shirt telling a story about a taxi. That's the assumption. That's what's just been exposed, and it was never anything to do with her. Because here's the actual clue, not the shoes, not the voice. You want to know what the real clue was? The one that was sat there in plain sight for 20 solid minutes? She was laughing at your jokes. Your jokes are not good, mate. You know they're not good. They've been the same 6 jokes for 11 years. And she laughed at every single one of them, at the right moment, with perfect timing, because she has been working that bar 5 nights a week for 6 years, and she can read a room in about a second and a half. She wasn't overwhelmed by you, she was being nice to you. There's a difference, and you sailed straight past it doing the eyebrow. So, what you do now, and this is the only bit that actually matters, is nothing dramatic. You don't make a face. You don't do the thing where you suddenly need to find your friend. You don't go quiet and start looking at your phone like a coward, and you definitely don't get funny about it. Because the only person who's been made to look daft in the last 30 seconds is you, and she's not the one who did it. You say yes to the drink. Then you buy the next round, because she offered first, and you've been stood there for half an hour talking about yourself. And then you stay, and you have the rest of the evening, which turns out to be one of the better ones you'll have out here. She's good company. She's much better company than you'd have been on your own, working through the taxi story with somebody who hadn't heard it. And at some point, an hour or so later, you notice that the swagger's gone. The whole thing, the eyebrow, the magnetism, the entire James Bond operation, packed up and left the building. And you're just a bloke in a bar, having a nice time, being out-joked by somebody far quicker than him. Which is, if you're honest, the best thing that's happened to you all week.